Hey guys, it's me, the dude who talks, and welcome. So for today I'm going to be talking about the reissue of the 2006 sophomore album from Enablers called Output Negative Space, which is being reissued by London DIY label Human Worth, and it is being re-released today. And yeah, Output Negative Space was originally released through Newark Recordings, and on this album they consist of members Joe Burns on drums, rest in peace, Joe Goldring on guitar and organ, Pete Simonelli on vocals, Kevin Thompson on guitar. So Enablers hail from San Francisco, and their music is a mixture of indie rock, post-punk, and a little bit of jazz thrown in there as well. So while this album is a reissue and not new music per se, I shamefully didn't know this album or band existed prior to this, so I will be treating this as a new review. So with all that out of the way, here goes the question: did I like it or did I hate it? Well, let's just get into it. So for those who really want to know, Output Negative Space consists of 9 tracks and clocks in at just over half an hour. So we'll start with the first song like we always do, which is called 5 O'Clock Sundays. And it has that twee sounding riff that's quite synonymous with bands like Tortoise, Slint, and another example, American Analog Set. That kind of indie sounding post-rock riff that you get in like all those releases. While this occurs, we have Pete Simonelli with spoken word lyrics, and they are very poetic, which is not surprising as he is a published poet. And then when having a bit more of a deep listen, the lyrics reminded me of like Nick Cave or even David Guerra from Swans in the way he's telling a story. It's very compelling to listen to. Even when things get absolutely noisy with the riffs, nothing gets left out of focus. And I asked myself this question: how did this album fly under my radar? The arrangements for the instrumentals on this album really piqued my interest. For example, this song Up. And also, when I really started to properly listen to them, I noticed them more and more. I think it was like the kind of jazz side of things that made them really interesting. And back on the song Up, while it's definitely on the standard quiet loud side of things, it was the guitar slide on this song and also this lead up to a distorted riff that I really liked. But I'll tell you what, I'll just play you it and it might be a better description. So, speaking of quiet loud, the song on Monk carries on this tradition, but I love how alarmingly quiet it starts off with, but then it gets progressively louder, and when it does, the riff sounds really compelling, and for me, it warranted further listens. And this is due to the guitar talents of Joe Goldring and Kevin Thompson. Now, speaking a bit on vocals, while Pete Simonelli has the same tone more or less throughout the album, not monotone, but it kind of feels a bit like that, he definitely gets a little bit louder in some of the louder parts of the album, like for example on Mediterranean and for Jack A. Phillip. And when this happens, it sounds very intense, and it's not like he's shouting or screaming, he's just getting a little bit louder. I just love the way that his delivery at these points can sound very intense. So yeah, I do enjoy the poetic style lyrics, but what really draws it for me is the riffs on the album. They really do it for me, and as I said earlier, while it is this kind of standard quiet loud arrangement, it's the way they approach this that sounds unique, and with also the spoken word lyrics, it makes for something else. So I don't really have any nitpicks for this album, but I will say you will only get your mileage out of this if you're like a fan of like the unconventional and not the straightforward. And it will take quite a few lessons for you to get it. So yeah, those are my only nitpicks. So, overall, I'm surprised that I didn't discover this album earlier. For me, it channels the noisy energy of Slint and Swans mixed with the storytelling style lyrics of Nick Cave, and it makes for a really compelling listen. That's all I've got really to say about it as a whole, so if you like that kind of thing, go check it out. So that was me talking about Output's Negative Space by Enablers. Have you picked up the reissue yet, or have you still got the album? Please let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section. Like always, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps out. I also want to apologise for the drilling of next door. It's rather infuriating, and it must be infuriating for you listeners. I just want to also plug my socials, so I'll be including links to my Facebook and Instagram in the description section should you wish to give that a like and a follow. And last but not least, my Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you're feeling very generous and want to donate my money, so I've set up something so you can do that. So I'm not asking for much, just like a couple of quid or whatever if you feel like it. So that is it from me. I've been the dude who talks. You guys, as always, are fucking awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.